Hey everyone, welcome back to Homestead Corner. Let's talk about all these shortages colliding. Fuel shortages across the world are nothing uncommon anymore, unfortunately. There are so many problems all over the place. I'm seeing more and more stuff about stuff that's going on in the Northeast and New England here in the US. I know over in Europe they are struggling. Winter is coming and they know that they do not have enough fuel to get through the winter. We are selling some of our natural gas over there. I'm seeing different articles saying different kind of things, but we're competing with Europe to purchase the natural gas that's here. So, you know, one place or the other is going to be without, and unfortunately, I think both places are going to be without for a lot of people that depend on natural gas. So in New England, they are now warning people about rolling blackouts throughout the winter because of the natural gas is so low, and we're competing with Europe to purchase the natural gas that is available. There's not enough, and lots of people will go without. Unfortunately, that I know here in Maine, most of the homes use home heating oil. They don't use the natural gas for heat. Some people do, but more than 60% use oil. And we have really low oil reserves in New England as well. The heating oil is just super low, and we're seeing across the Northeast, different places are already starting to ration heating oil. And no heat in negative degrees is definitely a problem in the wintertime. On top of rationing heating oil, these rolling blackouts will be another problem. Even if you have heating oil, if you don't have electricity to run your furnace, you're not going to have heat. This is absolutely insane. All of these different things are going to collide. It's in the next month or so. I think this is just going to really explode before even the hardest parts of winter hit. Here in the Northeast, really the coldest part of winter is January, February. We're not running our heat all the time right now. We don't use oil, we use wood because that's what we have and that's what works for us. So we use wood, and we're prepared for winter because we've been burning wood for years. A lot of people that have oil have to buy their gas and oil or whatever it is to heat their homes on a monthly basis. And with this rationing, there's only going to be so much to go around. On top of electricity and heating, we've got all these diesel shortages. We are seeing the diesel prices spike here in Maine from what I have saw. I haven't traveled across the entire state, but as we went down to the city the other day, we did notice a couple of places had signs out that they were out of diesel. They did not have any. They had the other regular fuel for your cars. And when we got closer to the city, we did notice that they had diesel available at $5.99 and up a gallon. So $5.99 is a hefty price. And heating oil usually goes right close, stays right close to the cost of diesel. And as this rises, the less there is, the more it is going to cost. The more it costs to ship things. If we run out of diesel, our whole country would shut down. I did see an article this morning that the people in Washington, D.C. are looking at tapping into a diesel reserve that is here in the Northeast, I guess. But that doesn't fix anything. When they tap into these reserves, like they have tapped into our national petroleum reserves, all it does is deplete it. It's not fixing anything. And now that is extremely low. Tapping into the diesel is just going to make it even lower here and everywhere. It doesn't fix anything. The there's no plan to fix anything, unfortunately. These are just band-aids to put on problems that are not going to help us only for a little while. With all of these fuel shortages going on, we really need to make sure that we are prepared to take care of our families. If the lights go out, the heat goes out, everything goes out. We need to be ready for this. Winter, I think, is going to be extremely difficult for so many people this year. Um, Making sure that you have plenty of layers to pile on when the heat is out. Dressing in layers can be super duper helpful, because once you start to warm up, you can remove a little at a time and to stay comfortable. Snuggling. If you've got anybody that lives with you, snuggle. It's a great way. Body heat is a great way to help keep you warm. Even your pets are little heater boxes. Snuggle up with them when you can, to help with heat. No heat in the wintertime can be deadly. Setting up a tent in a room or closing off a room can also be very helpful to make like a mini climate. It's a tent is going to hold in that body heat. If you've got a couple people in there, it's going to help keep it warmer. And you know, it's not going to go out into the room if you're inside that little tent. Or you could use tarps, you could use plastic, whatever you have. You want to make sure you have good ventilation, but you also helping hold in that body heat is going to help keep you warm with your layers. With sleeping bags, wool blankets are wonderful for holding the heat. They are really tightly woven, and it really helps hold the heat well. In your little mini climate, if you can do that in a room, that is great. If you have a basement, if anybody that has cold storage, you know that that cold storage area, either in your basement or a root cellar, whatever, it doesn't freeze in the winter time. That's going to be, that kind of space is going to be your best bet to keep warm. It's going to help you, because the ground around it kind of insulates it, and it's going to help keep the heat in there a little bit. So, but if you are on concrete or tile or anything like that for flooring, you want to get a base layer underneath you. Lay down some kind of carpet or blankets or something underneath, so you're not directly on the concrete. That concrete and tile is really cold, and it will suck the heat right out of your body. And you know, hats, extra socks, mittens, scarves, whatever you have to do. Making sure that you have the fuel, candles for clay pot heaters, if that is something that you're going to depend on. Anytime you're using candles or lanterns or anything like that, remember, they are dangerous when you're not watching them. Stay with them. If you have to leave, turn it off. Those little buddy heaters, a lot of people use those with the little propane tanks. Those are great to help keep warm. You really don't want that in a tiny microclimate, I don't think, because of the propane, the fumes. But in a bigger room, it would probably work. And those are the type of things we really need to make sure we have everything right now before we can't get it. Other people are seeing all this stuff. It's in the news. It is not a secret that we're running out of fuel. Everybody can see it. We need to be prepared and get those things that we need right now while they're still available, whether it's fuel or candles or extra blankets. Maybe you need a small tent or tarps or something. Figure out where you can set up an area so you can stay warm if you have to this winter. And hopefully, we'll cross our fingers and hope everything turns around and is beautiful tomorrow with no issues, and we have all the fuel we need. But we can hope and we can pray for everyone. We have to be realistic, and we have to be ready. And that's it for today. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.